All right, so let's try another one here. Actually, if we go fast enough, maybe we can squeeze them both into this video. These are all gonna be the same premise, okay? So we write down our given, 19.9 grams. We're looking at silicone, that is Si. Then we need to get our conversion factor set up correctly. This is where things tend to go awry. If I have grams to start, remember that's technically grams on the top. Okay, your given is on the top, so then I need to put grams on the bottom to get it to go away. I want to know how many moles of silicone were produced, so I'm going from grams to moles. That means grams to moles, that means you're going to use your molar mass, you're going to use the periodic table. So we look at silicon on the periodic table, it looks like it's 28.09. Now, you gotta think about that. Where does that go? On the top or on the bottom? Well, we know that 1 goes with the mole is 1 goes with the mole, so it's 28.09 grams in every 1 mole of silicon. Thinking about my canceling, grams cancels grams, I'm left with moles. That's where I want to be, so I'm going to stop the train there. In my calculator, I'm doing 19.9 times 1, if you want to. Not going to change anything. Divided by, this time, 28.09 grams. And so then that's going to come out as 0.708. I'm keeping 3 digits because I had 3 digits there. Moles of silicon. And because it's only been a minute, let's just do the next one here. How many moles of zinc are in this big old number? Now, all that is a number in scientific notation, so let's not be too afraid. Let's see here. Ooh, you know what? I've made a pickle here. We're going to have to change this. Yours will be updated to stay 1 step sample problems, meaning they only have 1 step to them, because this isn't mass to moles, this is moles and atoms, or moles and particles. So now we're ready to do numbers. Number of particles per mole is Avogadro's, and 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. Okay, so we are just halfway through this video here. I guess we're going to switch gears. It's essentially the same thing though, guys. We're going to put down the given 3.15 times 10 to the 23rd atoms, and we're talking about atoms of zinc. Now I want to get to moles, and so we go way back into the earlier things here between moles and atoms. Now remember, particles can be atoms, it can be molecules, it can be formula units. That's 1 mole is this many particles, and that's for anything, any type of element. So we come back down here, we are in atoms, which we can think of as particles. Maybe I'll just write that down here so that you have it, particles. And so we need to get rid of particles, or we need to get rid of atoms. So we're going to put that on the bottom, and we want to get into moles, so we'll put that on the top. So 1 mole is always Avogadro's number, 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. Now, if we look at our canceling, it's the same situation. Atoms cancels atoms. We're left with moles, so we're going to be in moles, and we're talking about moles of zinc. I think so. Okay, so this is where it gets actually a little trickier, is just putting this in your calculator. So let me just grab a picture of a calculator here to help us out. Okay, taking a look at this calculator. My calculators and the classroom ones have this little EE button there. Maybe I need to zoom in for a second here. Whoa, that was the calculator, but that works. Here's our EE button, and it's right above like the x to the -1. A lot of calculators have this button somewhere, okay? If you don't, okay, then you're going to need to always make sure you have parentheses around your numbers in scientific notation, particularly if they're on the bottom of the fraction. Okay, because your calculator is smart, and it's going to follow the order of operations, which tells it to do multiplication and division in the order they appear. So your calculator, when you tell it to do this, it's going to multiply by that, but then what it's going to do is just divide by 6.02, and then it's going to multiply by 10 to the 23. You don't want it to do that. You want it to divide by this whole quantity. So parentheses, parentheses, parentheses. Now, for those of you who have an EE button somewhere on your calculator, that is an awesome thing to learn how to use, because it's going to make it a lot easier for you. And I'm sure in a warm-up here or sometime soon, or just come see me, make sure I look at your calculator and help you know how to use this feature. So what we're going to do is, in our calculator, we would type in, I'm just going to show you the buttons I'm going to push, and then you push them at the same time, right? We do 3.15. Then we're going to hit second, because this is in light blue, and then this button, so that the EE comes on. So on our calculator, it's probably going to look like 3.15 E23. That's perfect. This E means times 10 to the 23rd, and it tells your calculator, hey, group that together, that's all one big number. Okay, so you've got that in your calculator. Then you're going to come back over and say divided, because it's on the bottom, right? It's underneath the division bar. And we want it to divide by 6.02. So I'm going to go ahead and show you which buttons I'm pushing. 6.02. Second EE again, so that now our calculator has this big capital E, which means times 10 to something. And then we just want to do 23 and go ahead and hit enter. 23, enter. So then our calculator is probably, hopefully, really should say something like 0.5 to, how many digits do I want? 5, 2, 3. We know that that's going to be moles because that's where we ended with our unit. And that's moles of zinc. So that's my final answer for that one. If you did not get that on your calculator, I want you to stop right now and find someone else in the room or ask me how we can make that work in your calculator.